Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Omar Mikael bin Mat Sofi, and I am here to present my part of this video, which is the introduction. Okay. In the introduction, I will briefly explain on these several points. Firstly, what is the problem? The problem that I and my members are facing for this project is that we need to come up with a solution to improve the teaching method in thermodynamic course related with an assigned topic, which is our topic is polytropic process and work boundary in to overcome this problem. We needed to identify what causing student ever needed an improvement on teaching methods in the first place. After hours of researching, we identified 3 problems. Okay, first, which are lack of shared language. This is because lack of a shared language for describing teachings makes it very difficult to generate and disseminate professional knowledge. This will make students not able to understand well in studies, and misunderstanding will happen. Okay, second, fail to provide standard level of teaching skills. This is also important because it's necessary for a teacher to be flexible and adaptable in the modern digital age. Great modern teacher or lecturer supposed to know the rule to rule with the punches and to face challenges. Okay, the last problem is the lack of use of electronic media. Okay, from a research, online delivery, web-based instruction and software, sometimes with the use of multimedia have been widely used to facilitate thermodynamics lessons. Kuber and Lindauer and Go and Lai stated from their research that students have responded. The last of the problem is the lack of use of electronic media. From a research and online delivery, web-based instruction and software, sometimes with the use of multimedia, have been widely used to facilitate thermodynamics learning. Kuber and Lindauer, from their journal review, their journal article, stated that students have responded favorably to their use of electronic media. Web-based module, when interactive and visually appealing with animation and simulation, captures the attention of wider generation. Ngo and Lai. The use of various communication technologies for online offering of a thermodynamic course was described by Paul in his research. Results show that students rely heavily on the instructor to show them how to solve problems. Stanley and Sepp present a web-based animation software for thermodynamics that was linked to homework problem in the textbooks. Students considered the software to be valuable for learning thermodynamic concepts. From all of these 3 problems, we will invent a method based on these 3 problems. To accomplish this, we put objective at this project as to overcome all the problem mentioned, so that thermodynamics will be famous as an interesting subject and not as a tough subject as it is now in the future. Okay, this is all for my part of the presentation. Now the presentation will continue, and the next presentation is
Hi, good day everyone. My name is Muhammad Adi, and now I want to talk about the methods. How to improve the method of teaching. Here's the way that we recommend to you. First, lack of shared in our university education. The most used language is English and Malay. As we know, most of students in the majority student of dictionary is Malay, and you can see that some Malay are good in English, but some are not good. Most of the people use English language during class. The good student, not really good student, will face problem when they try to understanding what the lecturer said in the front. If the lecturer just use in one language like English, they have to understanding the lecture or explanation, and the result, the student will not focus in class, they sleep, then talk with his friend and others. To implement this, the lecturer should explaining the details of the subject or topic with the language that student easily to understand, like Malay. For example, our group discussed about topic polytropic process and a boundary work in a closed system. Teacher must use this method when explaining the definition, the law, or when during they doing exercise. For example, when the lecturer want to explain the definition of some keywords that important for the topic, like our topic is about polytropic process and boundary work in the closed system. So we take polytropic process. Then what is polytropic process? We take polytropic process. Okay. Polytropic process is any reversible process that involve heat and work transfer. Then we explain to the student like in a Malay, like polytropic process adalah mana-mana proses yang ulang-alik yang menyebabkan pemindahan haba dan juga kerja. It's example that we can use to the student during the classes, and as a result, student will easily to understand what definition of some keyword, definition, explanation, or exercise during the classes, and prevent the student from sleeping in the class. Lecturer should provide a suitable relation between teaching and our daily life. It will make this, when we relate something in our daily life in a class with the topic, it will make the subject more interesting, and student will more interest to study about the topic, and it helps student to analyze the topic much better. Then as example, we can relate the polytropic process with the balloon, so we get some question that related to the balloon with the polytropic process.
And now, here's the question. Read the questions carefully. Find the keywords and information from the question and write down. From the question, we have volume 1, volume 2, temperature, question 1. C. Question 1, work. How to find work? Here's the boundary work equation, where work equal to the derivation of P dV. From P, we know that equal to the CV, the power of negative n. Since we know the C is constant, which is 100 kPa per m, then took out the C and we derive the V, the power of n. Negative n. Then we derive it and we get like this, and finally we got the equation like this. Now we have work boundary, where work boundary equal to the P2 V2 minus P1 V1 over 1 minus n. But from this equation, we don't have pressure. How to find pressure? From either gas equation, where P equal to the CV the power of negative n. From the question, we have equation like this: P equal to CV the power of 1 over 3. So we can say that n equal to negative 1 over 3. Now we can find the pressure 1 and pressure 2. Substitute the information that we have into the equation ideal gas. And pressure 1 is equal to the 100 kPa and pressure 2 is 144.22 kPa. Now we can substitute the value of P1 and P2 to the work boundary equation. And finally, the final answer we get work boundary is equal to the 249.5 kilojoule.
Hello. Today I'd like to explain about the failure. Right now, there's failure to provide standard level of teaching skills. So I'd like to explain ways to overcome the failures to provide standard level of teaching skills. Okay. As we know, earlier 3 points were already being presented. Now I'll move on to the last 2 points, which are the knowledge of subject matter and also the strong rapport with students. Okay. Going on to knowledge of subject matter. As you see right now, as a teacher, or as a lecturer, they should be able, they should know that various subject in the figuratives. What do I mean by they should know the figuratives is that they should understand the various subject in a very proper manner. They should know it really very well. So when a student asks them a question, they could be able to explain to them without any doubt, with full confidence, with full enthusiasm. And these might make a student believe, in the lecturer or the teacher, and these will also increase. These will give an interest for them to continue, to study that particular subject. You see, no, for thermodynamics. The thermodynamics itself is a very complex form of subject, and students find it really difficult in the beginning to understand the very subject because they find it complex, they find it confusing. When a teacher or lecturer themselves doesn't really understand the subject so really well, this just increases the burden on the student, and they feel like quitting the subject. They feel that the subject is not for them. Whereas if the teacher understands the subject really well, and when a student asks them a question, and the teacher could give them a clear explanation on that very question, or give a clear explanation, a clear overview on the very thermodynamic subject, on some certain chapters, like for example, Polytropic, chapter 4, Polytropic, they can give a very clear overview on that particular subject, on that particular topic. The student will find it interesting, and the student will tend to do more research. Once they get the interest on that subject, this increases the understanding of that particular subject. So knowledge of subject matter is really important for the student. Knowledge of subject matter is really important for the lecturer and also for the student. Then, going on with strong rapport with students. As we know, as a teacher or a lecturer, they should have a really good relationship with their student, because everything. If you want to give, when a lecturer is teaching or when a teacher is teaching, and he doesn't really have that kind of a very really good relationship with the students tend to care less about the subject that they study. They don't really tend to find an interest in what they're going to study. So lecturers should be really friendly, should be nice, and should maintain a really good relationship with their student. So the student finds it easy for them to approach the lecturer, for them to ask questions to the lecturer. I mean, for them to get, I mean, this enables them to have a better understanding on the very subject, on the very chapter of thermodynamics. Because if you don't, there's no good relationship with, between a student and a lecturer. Definitely, the student will never find the interest to come and, to continue, to come to class, to attend to class. This affects the attendance of the students. It also affects the results of the students. And it's all because the very weak relationship that the student has between the weak relationship between the student and the lecturer, which we have to avoid at all costs. Because if a student has a weak relationship with the lecturer is the one who gives the marks. So when the lecturer doesn't really know, and this also tends to affect the marks of the student. So lecturer should.
Okay, now I will explain the second method on how to improve teaching method in lecture or tutorial. So there will be 5 elements in improving the teaching method, which are an engaging personality and teaching style, clear objective for lessons, effective discipline skill, knowledge of subject matter, and the last one is strong rapport with students. So I will explain for the number 1 is an engaging personality and teaching style. So this one we explain about a great teacher is very engaging and hold attention of students in all discussion. This is important as some students find thermodynamic subject is boring due to difficulty in understanding the subject. In order to motivate students to keep trying, teacher must be able to stand out by having great personality and teaching style. For example, lecture explained in clear and loud voice so the student can hear and understand properly. And the second one is clear objective for lesson. A great teacher establishes clear objective for each lesson and works to meet those specific objectives during each class. This is because to narrow the focus in the subject. For example, in chapter 4, energy analysis of closed system, one of the subject is to examine the moving boundary work or PDV work commonly encountered in reciprocating devices such as automatic engines and compressors. Lecturer can point out this objective from a tutorial like this. And the third one is effective discipline skill. A great teacher has effective discipline skill and can promote positive behavior in class. Besides that, lecturer should give assignment and must be submitted. Lecturer can use fear tactic in making sure the student to do assignment by deducting their remark if assignment is not been submitted. It is to ensure the student do the assignment by any means so that they can understand better.
Assalamualaikum. I will present the last part of the method, which is lack of use of electronic media. As we know that electronic media is a very important thing that used in this modern world in a learning process. So most lecturers often use slides and whiteboard to present their teachings as a learning process. The lecturers should know the advantages of electronic media, which is efficient and easily to present their speech in the classroom. As the technology grows, change and adapt with the time, so does the electronic media in the process of learning. Technology used within the concept of electronic learning is nearly limitless because it encompasses a wide range of education in technology. I will list out some of the common type of technologies in the electronic media. First, audio technology. Outdoor technology include the older technologies that used in previous, which is radio, cassette, tape, CD, and also we can include the modern technologies, which is internet, downloadable music, webcast, podcast. Next, video technology. One of the technology that can use in the learning process. Video technology include older video technology, which is film reels, VHS tape. We can also include the modern video technologies such as DVD, online videos in YouTube. Next technologies is computer technology. Specifically, we can use computer technology in using internet as a resource. We can use the internet for our learning from the website, so that lecturer can also encourage student to use computer-based technology as an internet for education. Other than other technologies, the last part of technology can use in the process of learning. We specifically, the other technologies is phone, which is almost no limit, which can be used in learning or educational environment, such as in phone we have the application that can download from Apple Store or Google Play Store. One of the application is Edmodo or WhatsApp, and from that we can exchange their thought. From that we can exchange the student and lecturer's thought, and lecturer also can give additional knowledge for student, which is very good for student, at home or away from lecturer. That's all from me. Thank you.
One of the technologies that used in this modern life in learning process by the lecturers is videos, online videos in YouTube. So we will derive the boundary work as follows. Consider that the gas is enclosed in the piston cylinder device. The gas has an initial pressure P and a total volume V. The gas expands and the piston is allowed to move a differential distance d, as the differential boundary work done during this process is equal to the force on the piston times the distance the piston is moved. The force acting against the piston is equal to the pressure of the gas times the cross-sectional area of the pistons. The product of this area and the distance of the piston moved is equal to the differential change in the total volume of the gas. The total boundary work done as the piston moved from point 1 to point 2 can be obtained by adding all the differential work from state 1 to state 2. This is done by integration. Recall that work is a past function, so the integral of the differential boundary work done from point 1 to point 2 is simply equal to the total boundary work done during the process. In order to integrate the right side of the equation, we need to have functional relationship between the pressure and the volume.
Okay, as the conclusion, there are many ways to improve learning and teaching method in this subject, especially in topic of polytropic and work boundary and a closed system. As stated in the introduction, there are 3 problems that we identify in order to improve the teaching method, such as lack of a shared language to describe teaching, fail to provide standard level teaching skill, and lack of use of electronic media. Regarding all of these problems, we have find the method to solve it. Language is an important tool that has been used to deliver during the lecture. Either the lecturer use English or Malay. Language need to be delivered clearly so that students can understand. At the same time, to make it clearer, the lecturer should explain in both languages. Next, as a good lecturer, they should know the standard level teaching skill, have strong fundamental of the subject, and a good personality for any subjects. Explaining the lesson plan is vital because it's the fundamental of the subject before proceeding to any topics. Last but not least, as we live in the modern era of technology, one of the easiest ways to improve teaching methods is by using electronic media. Basically, lecturer just using the PowerPoint slide during the lecture or just writing on the whiteboard. By using the electronic media, lecturer can make video or audio as teaching materials as an additional way apart from only teaching in the class. All of these methods that we have identified should be implemented and practiced in order to improve the teaching method and subsequently achieve our objective of the study, which is to make sure the thermodynamic as an interesting subject and not as a tough subject as it is now in the future. This is all. Thank you.